Alright, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Fitzgerald, and this is the video lesson pertaining to the element of color. I give you homework today. You're going to watch the video or read the article, then you're going to answer the questions from this, and hopefully you will turn it in tomorrow. Alright, because we're starting a project, that's why we have this information, so that we can go into the project already with the information instead of trying to learn everything while we're doing things. So this is about the element of color. And first, before I read, I'm going to tell you the questions that you're going to be thinking about and be answering at the end, so that you can already have that in your head. Maybe write, a note, star, underline, or highlight this information as you read it. And then when you finish, you can go to answer the questions and be done really soon. So the first question would be, what are the three primary hues? The three primary hues. Hues is just another word for color. You'll understand after I read this text here. So there's three primary hues. Second is describe how value is changed by tints and shades. So value, we've talked about that before, light and dark. So you're going to describe how value is changed by tints and shades, and you're going to learn those two words as I read as well. And I've got these underlined because they are key words. Number three is, what are the complementary colors? What are the complementary colors? And then number four is, describe an analogous color scheme. An analogous color scheme. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Look up the word color in a dictionary and you will find many different meanings. One of the definitions will resemble the following. Color, a verb. To brighten, add life to, or make more interesting. That's not the definition we're going to use. Remember, that's a verb usage of the word. That means it's action. So to actually color means that. We're talking about the color itself, though. So the definition of color sums up its role as an element of art. It adds life to art and enhances a work's visual interest. For many artists, color is the most important element of all. In this lesson, you will learn more about color and its many uses. So what is color? Color, is the definition, is the element of art that is derived from reflected light. All right. White light from the sun is actually a combination of all colors. When light passes through a wedge-shaped glass called a prism, okay, we don't have one of these. I'm sure you either have or will kind of do this in science class one day. The beam of white light is bent. The light is then separated into bands of color called the color spectrum. So in the light that we see, the white light from the sun and different lights, there's actually all these other colors of light involved. The colors of the spectrum always appear in the same order. There's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. When light falls on an object, some of the light is absorbed by the object. Okay, so this is the science. This is the science of color. We're going to get to the artistic application soon, but right now this is the science. This is how we see colors. Some of the light is absorbed by the object. The rest of the light bounces off. Color is what the eye sees when the light bounces off an object. Sometimes artists use colors in bold and dramatic ways. Look at figure 212 right underneath. You can't really tell because yours is in black and white, but it's crazy. It's all sorts of different bold and dramatic colors. At other times, they use them in serious ways. Okay, the next page is figure 213, and it's very dramatic, but very serious. Look back at the painting that opened this chapter, figure 221 on page 20. How would you describe the use of color in this artwork? Okay, you obviously don't have that. So the color wheel. Now we're getting into the art side of it. In the 18th century, Sir Isaac Newton organized the colors of the rainbow into a color wheel. The colors of the rainbow, or the color wheel, is an arrangement of colors in a circular format. And you have one right here. So you need to really look at this. Examine the color wheel in figure 214. Notice that it shows the names of and relationships among the various colors. Later in the chapter, you will learn more about the color wheel and its use. Traits of color. To achieve different results, artists must understand the three properties or traits of colors as they appear on the color wheel. These three important traits are hue, H-U-E, value, which you talked about, and intensity. All right. So the hue is a color's name. Okay. You have red, yellow, and blue. They're the primary hues. So red, yellow, and blue are the three primary hues. They're always equally spaced on the color wheel. These colors are called primary, meaning first, because they can be mixed to make all the other hues. And you can't mix any other colors to make them. If you did not have blue paint, you could not make blue paint. You could not mix any other color to make blue paint. All right, you have to have blue, red, and yellow to make those colors. But you can use those to mix other colors. The secondary hues, green, orange, and violet, are made by mixing the two primary hues. To get orange, for example, you mix equal parts red and yellow. Can you identify the colors that you would mix to obtain the other two secondary hues? Okay, so basically I'm going to tell you what those are, because I don't want you, it's no guessing games. I want you to know. You mix blue and yellow to make green, yellow and red to make orange, and blue and red to get violet, which most people call it purple. That's not really purple. We'll talk about that in class, I'm sure. So red and blue make violet, blue and yellow make green, and yellow and red make orange. All right, so those are the three primary hues and how to get the three secondary hues, the secondary colors. Now an intermediate hue, or some people call it, like I'll call it a tertiary hue or tertiary color, is made by mixing a primary hue with its neighboring secondary hue. When you mix the primary hue yellow with secondary hue green, you get the intermediate hue yellow-green. Okay, so we'll look at the color wheel here, right? If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. And then if you add more yellow, you get yellow-green. If you add more blue, you get blue-green. Same thing with all of them here. You mix yellow and red to get orange right here in the middle. If you have more yellow, it's kind of yellowish-orange. And if you have more red, it's reddish-orange. All right. And all of these have technical names as well. All right, so value, which we talked about. You may have noticed that some colors seem lighter than others, okay? Like, some people aren't aware, but pink is actually just light red. You take red and add white to make a light red that is pink, all right? This difference is one of value. Value refers to the lightness or darkness of a hue or of anything, as we talked about. Pale lavender is light in value and deep purple is dark in value. Figure 215 shows different values of blue. The blue of a hue changes through additions of black or white. A light or whiter value of a hue is called a tint. Pink, which is a mixture of red and white, is a tint of red. It's a tint of red. Carolina blue is a tint of blue, right? A dark or blacker value is called a shade. Maroon is a mixture of red and black. It is a shade of red. Be careful when using these art terms in everyday language. The word shade is often used to describe both light and dark values of a hue. All right. Intensity. Some hues strike the eye as bright and lively. Others appear dull or muddy. The difference has to do with the color's intensity. Intensity is the brightness or dullness of a hue. A bright hue is said to have high intensity. A dull hue is to be low in intensity. Bright yellow is high in intensity. Mustard yellow is low in intensity. So you can have like a lime green, or you can have that electric highlighter, bright lime green. Or you can have kind of, I guess what's called a kiwi, which is kind of like a dull light green. All right, so look again at the color wheel, page 29. Red and green are complementary colors. These are colors opposite each other on the color wheel. All right, so when you look here, red and green are right across from each other on the color wheel. They're complementary colors. Blue and orange right across. Violet and yellow right across. They're complementary colors. Adding hue's complementary color lowers the hue's intensity. So if you added red to a green, a little tiny bit of red, you'll make it a dull green. It's getting towards brown, right? Yellow and purple or violet the same way, blue and orange the same way. That's how you kind of dull it down. You just got to use a tiny bit though, because you will start getting these kind of nasty brown, pukey colors, right? So if you mix equal parts of two complementary colors, you get a neutral color like brown or gray. And honestly, like, it doesn't really talk about it, but one of the reasons we call these complementary colors is it's as simple. It's kind of because it's kind of the opposite spectrum of the color wheel. These look good together. Red and green, they look good together. They're Christmas colors. They look good together. You don't want to mix them together, though, right? You don't want to mix green and red together. You get kind of brown. But if you wear them, you'll look Christmassy, but it looks good. They contrast. They come remember the difference. Contrast. They're different. Orange and blue, same way. They look good together because they're very different. They kind of set each other off. All right, so combining colors. Colors are like musical instruments. Just as each instrument has its own special sound, so every color has its kind of own feel, its kind of personality. Combining colors in just the right way can lead to striking results. So we're going to think about three color schemes that artists use. Color schemes is a plan. It's a plan that artists use. So the first one is monochromatic color schemes. Monochromatic colors are different values of a single hue. A color scheme using dark blue, medium blue, and light blue is monochromatic. This type of scheme tightly weaves together the parts of an artwork. A danger in using monochromatic scheme, however, is it can bore the viewer. All right, so a lot of times we use monochromatic, as you're going to see, to kind of tell a message pretty much. You're going to use it to communicate. You want to have that. You use it to put emotional content. If you just have it just to have it, like it says, it's going to be kind of boring. So it needs to kind of do something. Your monochromatic color scheme, if you're using dark navy blue, regular blue, and this light blue, you're going to have to be telling something. Maybe we'll talk about this later, but blue a lot of times is associated with sadness. We're going to see that with Mr. Pablo Picasso. But you need to make sure that you're using your monochromatic scheme to kind of tell a story, to give some feelings out, because otherwise it's just going to look kind of boring, right? There's nothing there to spark the viewer's imagination or to make them think. So analogous color schemes, analogous colors are colors that are side by side on the color wheel and share a hue. Okay, so you got red, violet, red, and red, orange. They're analogous that share the hue red. Analogous colors in an artwork can tie one shape to the next. Okay, so these are colors that they look good together because they are very similar, right? Red, violet, red, orange, and then orange, then yellow. They're kind of along the side of each other, so they look together. They look good together. They're not going to be. They don't really contrast a whole lot because they look very similar because they share that hue, right? They share that base of red. All those colors will have red until you get to yellow. Warm or cool color schemes. We're going to talk about this big time next. Red, yellow, and orange remind us of sunshine, fire, and other warm things. For this reason, they're known as warm colors. Blue, green, and violet make us think of cool things like water and grass. They're known, therefore, as cool colors. When used in artwork, warm colors seem to move toward the viewer. Cool colors appear to recede or move back and away. And even more so, we're going to talk about the emotional content that these colors have. Okay, why would you use warm colors? What kind of emotional content, what kind of messages can you communicate with those colors? And the same way with cool colors. What kind of message, what kind of feel can you send towards the viewer with those colors? All right, so there you go. Quick and dirty. Here's the questions here. Remember, 6th and 7th graders, just write it on a separate piece of paper. 8th graders, you write in paragraph form, so no numbers, paragraph form. The 4 questions are: first, number 1, what are the 3 primary hues? Okay. Second, describe how value is changed with tints and shades. So how do you get tints and shades? How do you change value in colors with paint? Define intensity. So what is intensity? What are the complementary colors? You can give an example. And then number 5 is describe an analogous color scheme. Describe an analogous color scheme. All right, guys, there you go. There's more that please read. Don't just answer the questions, because answering the questions just scrapes the top, right? But I hope you do this. Hope you understand it. I'll answer questions, of course, if you don't. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good day.